Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, listeners, wherever you are tonight in the world, whether it's in the day, the afternoon, the morning, but it's night side here in the United States on the East Coast. It's 7. Today is November 15th, 2022. We're back here with our 104th edition in the Issues Room. Tonight, the conversation continues. And I'm telling you, what is happening in our country right now, the bombshell. I don't know where Liberia stands in the Committee of Nations. I don't know what face this president has with everything happening behind him. He ran out of the country to come on a spree of enjoyment, and things are happening behind him. Some of the people that he depends on, his stalwarts, his partisans, the people who he depended on over the last 4+ years. The CDC is caving in. The nation is sick. The nation is in peril. People are getting a crook. And we're not going to mince on our words tonight. This is about our country, and I continue to say this. And so we want to welcome you. It's not about the followings here tonight, the numbers. What we say here tonight will leave in the data of Facebook, of YouTube, and even our own private terabyte of data. So I want to encourage you, invite a friend, bring folks over, tell them the Issues Room is back. Tuesday, we're here to talk about many things. I'm Volcano Shelton, welcoming you to our 104th edition. My man, my brother, Moses Dogba Sandy, out there in Delaware. Listen to me, Moses. I shared tears today, and I will tell you at what point I shed tears for our country because of the magnitude of corruption and how people are just walking away scot-free, and they're still trying to filter the way back into other branches of government, particularly the first branch of government, the legislature, where they will have a degree of amenities and immunities, to beat their chest and say, nobody can bring sanction, nobody can bring a war crime court, nobody can do this. Moses, it's sad.
Absolutely. Uh, the same feeling you had today or continue to have is the same way I felt. On a personal note, I'm okay. I came home this evening. My beautiful wife, she prepared a sauce called toboggi. That's how we call it in Liberian parlance. And I had a real nice African dish. The kids are well. Everything is going good. But psychologically, I'm disturbed for Liberia. And Volcano, like you, I'm troubled because from what I've been reading, what I've been saying, Liberia is on a path to a bigger crisis. If the current situation is not contained, I am not wishing Liberia evil. But Volcano, as a social scientist, will follow consistently what happens. And you know what happened in Liberia in the 90s. It was on the same path. Everything started to crumble. And that's where I see this country headed. George Weah and his gang of criminals have failed Liberia. I know we have a lot to talk tonight, but this is disturbing. And let me join you in welcoming our people, our guests, our viewers, wherever they are, to the most talk about issues room. Tonight we have come to cut a spade a spade. Join us and please share the link. Thank you.
So Moses, I know people want to say 1990, but when you look at the beginning of our crisis as a nation, started in 1979 over Pusava rice.
Mm-hmm.
When President Tabo was looking at the future and said that we needed to go back to the soil and grow our own food. And however, we'll be raising the stake, okay, to encourage our farmers to benefit at the same time. The importation of whatever the Pusawa rice will be, we'll have to put the price up a little bit. It was just a suggestion. It didn't even go through. And guys like Bob Cos Matthew and the so-called Moja people and Pan-Africanists created a
Coming in
stir.
with and all the other guys, you know.
Yes, created a stir. And it led to the 1980 coup. Sooner or later, it was Native woman born soldier, Congo woman born rogue, and then the Native woman who born soldier, it turned into the Native woman born rogues. And since 1980, there have been more rogues than the Turbo government. I was a baby boy, young lad, I remember. But what has happened since 1980? We have yet to wake up. We have yet to wake up, Moses. And that's why you and I have become contributors to the conversation of our country future. We've come to talk about the things that we said we were deprived of as indigenous Liberians. But look at the country, look at what the country configuration is today. It is almost all indigenous Liberians.
Yeah.
And not to say the least, some of these indigenous Liberians have gotten so educated to the point that they now become Congo. You understand what I'm saying? The lifestyle
Yeah.
that identifies and stuff like that.
Volcano, quickly, not to cut you off, you're not trying to put the quote unquote country boys down. But the point you're driving here is the people said 1980 came, the coup came because they had
They were
quote unquote
oppressed.
Congo people in government. They were
And they were
oppressed.
oppressed.
And they had native Liberians taking over the country. And they took the country down to the ground. And so I'm agreeing with you that you are 100% right. You have a bunch of indigenous people taking the country down to the ground.
We've come to 42 years later.
Yeah.
And yet we cannot get ourselves together. What have we done? We rewarded boys with no monies who were hustlers, and we put them over the country's money in higher position with little to no experience. And so they come with the mindset that this could be the first and last opportunity I will ever see in my life or experience. So I got to make good of it. And especially George Weah government that came to power in 2018. Immediately upon coming to power, they had a huddle where they came together and said, gentlemen, you know what to do. You just make sure everything you're taking, you must make sure you bring my own. But we had our time. Our time was the slogan. And 4.5 to 5 years or more later, it is the same slogan. That's why we're here tonight, because a major mandate as enshrined in our constitution that every 10 years we must have our census done to determine our population size so that all of the benefits to the people in the country can be determined by the number of people in that count, has been deprived since 2018. They've been asking and delaying. But what happened? The president has ordered the country. He's not counted. We don't know how many people he left with who are not counted. And he declares a national housing and census day holiday in the country when they did not have anything in place. And today, the entire census is a fiasco. The young man who was very vocal and said, listen, let us not fool ourselves. Let us not lie to the Liberian people. Let's do what is right. Let's do it the right way. We're not prepared. This whole process is marred by corruption, which Moses, you're coming in, we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But let's ask the Liberian people for a little delay here so we can get it right. The president gets mad. I have declared national holiday for the census to begin, and you from nowhere come and challenge my authority. I am terminating you. But the young man, Alex Williams, had a hint, and so he tendered his resignation in to the board because he was not answerable to the president. But the president wants to show muscles, decided that he would terminate Alex, who had already resigned, by the way.
Yeah.
And, the other guy. But Moses, I just thought to set the stage here so that you can come in with this whole fiasco. And today, and in fact, right now, as I speak with you, Alex is on Spoon.
Yeah.
Alex was on Spoon yesterday. Today, he threw the bomb, showing evidence of Samuel Toer's incalculable corruption.
Yeah.
And this guy lies to the point that it creates what I would consider pseudo believability for the people who don't understand his gibberish when he's talking. And that's where we are today. Liberia has no census ongoing, and this young man continue to talk. Moses.
I would like to begin and say, thank you, Volcano. I would like to begin by first saying that Mr. Alex M. William, the former Deputy Director General for Statistics at LISGIS, is a national hero. I applaud him. Sometimes it's good to stand out Volcano, regardless of where you find yourself. Do you know the security implications associated with what this young man is doing in our country? Do you know the number of persons that will be hunting him down tonight? His safety is now in danger. But he defied all of that. They said, look, I will die one time, but this is about the good of my country, Liberia. I just listened to him. I listened to him yesterday evening. This man has double masters in statistics. At LISGIS, he had the sole authority of managing the census. But what did Mr. Weah and his people do? Samuel Toer, the man Mr. William referred to as the certified liar. I also call him the pathological liar, Samuel Toer, who having to be chair of the board of directors of LISGIS. They sidelined this man. According to Mr. Williams, they now dismissed acting director general of LISGIS, Wilmer Smith, and the other gentleman who President Weah yesterday appointed as acting director general after he dismissed Mr. Smith.
I think it's Lawrence George.
These two gentlemen were in recent time indicted by LACC for malfeasance at LISGIS. What did they do after Mr. Williams blew the whistle about malfeasance at LISGIS? They sidelined him. They prevented him from executing the task that he had at the agency.
And in fact, quickly, let me just add, he did say today that he was a signatory to the account. And as a result of that, he first brought to their attention, they removed him. So at that point, they call him the no man. You know, like, bro, is it the man or no man? Is it the man or no man?
Yeah, the man says he knows everything. Yeah.
Yes, let move him from there.
Yeah,
but
so
the young man, being that he's researched and understand how to, gather and sustain information, he was able to over time, do just that
Yeah.
Today he was able to display so many
Records.
damning information, which we'll talk about. Go ahead, Moses.
Thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars transferred through transferred to a bank in in Ivory Coast.
Oh, it's Echo Bank
I
or
mean,
to
EcoBank did
a
a
bogus
transfer to
company.
a bogus company in the Ivory Coast. According to Mr. William, the company does not exist. And that company is reportedly the making of the Minister of Finance, while having to be the chairman of the board of directors of LISGIS. Everything. How do you conduct a census when the enumerators have not been trained? Mr. Williams said that. He named specific counties, resources, and other places in the country. He said LISGIS did not train enumerators in those counties. They had no men. Logistics was lacking. But yet, Mr. Smith, the former acting director general, Mr. Tua and others were moving money here and there, unaccounted for. And now you tell me, Volcano, in the wake of this crisis, don't you think? In fact, Mr. Williams said he elected the president. He's saying he documentation of what was happening at LISGIS. The president paid no attention. Records, the very records that he displayed today, he said he sent those records over to the office of the president. In fact, he sent them to him through WhatsApp. The president paid no attention. These individuals were indicted by the LACC. Mr. Tua said he wasn't aware. The president himself said, "Oh yeah, you heard it. He heard it, but the matter had not come to her attention." Mr. Williams said, "No. The records are now in the public." And what did the president do? He ordered someone who blew the whistle to be dismissed. And then what did he do? He asked one of the indictees, Lawrence George. This man was indicted by the LACC for fraud. But what did Mr. Weah do? He asked him to act as what? Acting director general of LISGIS. The first thing, the president does not even know the very act that created LISGIS. As per the law, according to Mr. Williams, Article 50.8 of the Act gives the appointing power of the Director General and his deputies to the board of directors, not the president. Because I think that was done in order to make the entity more independent. All the president needed to do was to ask the board to dismiss whoever he wanted to dismiss. But because Mr. Weah has failed to learn governance, he embarrassed himself again. He dismissed this young man.
Or did he do the same thing? Tried, or maybe in fact did the same thing with the a lady, the Liberia extractive industry. With the first king of power, they decided to bring the guy from Ghana.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah. But the man,
It
George
was a
Weah is
10-year
not ready to
position.
learn. Yeah, he wants to be president just to be in the public face, but he
It's a
refuses
title.
to do. Yeah,
It's a title.
just to have the title, but he refuses to learn those basic rudiments that go along with what it takes to be a president.
So Moses,
Yes.
let's we've already laid the cards out there.
Yeah,
The grand thief here in all of this, the masterminder, the direct beneficiary is Samuel Toy.
yeah,
The same Samuel Toy, who is considered Weah's boogman, when they first came to power, took $25 million. And this money came from our treasury.
yeah,
Our savings here in the U.S. Treasury Department.
yeah.
They took $25 million out of that money. As soon as they got a hold of it,
Mhm.
it was 80 million, I believe, they withdrew, and 25 million right away they took it and said that they were mopping up.
Yeah, quote unquote
Samuel
mop up
Toure
exercise. Yeah.
today has not been able to produce any clear path,
No.
documentation to suffice that whatever exercise these monies were used for, here's the evidence.
Yeah.
The Liberian people were in honeymoon with the CDC government, especially the voters
Yeah.
who felt that time had arrived and George Weah was this boy from Gibraltar who knew the plight and would deliver on them. When especially Weah and his boy said, listen, we coming here to get rich. I'm not sparing it because only one opportunity you get in life. 6 years, if we don't get rich, I don't think we will ever get this thing again. You know, there's a lot of influences. The West influence, Ellen Johnson said, leave right now, we're in good book. I'm protecting her, but the day she get vexed, she start pushing button with the West, they will kick me out.
Yeah.
So let's get rich. Samuel Tour said, okay, I'm going to be the one to channel these monies.
Yeah.
And he has been in the limelight. I'm so surprised, Moses, that Samuel Tour is not part of those guys who are on sanction. But with everything happening right now, he has no escape route.
I see
I
it
don't think
coming,
he can talk
Volcano.
his way out of this. He tries to act like he's eloquent when he's spewing up lies
Get rich. Yeah.
and he can't defend those things.
Hmm.
After he speaks, it's recorded. He may not come back and be able to explain again. But my brother, I was in company and I'm telling you, the Titanic of the CDC has hit the iceberg and is sinking.
Yeah.
People who know the story of the Titanic and are part of this government needs to stop jumping ship
Obviously.
because it has hit the iceberg. With the information presented by Alex Williams between yesterday and today, I am calling on the American embassy to reach out to President Biden, and I'm seeing it, and cancel Weah's trip to this conference. Weah has not proven that he can sit amongst leaders who are doing well for the countries. When he's making these impulse or impulsive appointments of people he doesn't know from nowhere, people with tinted characters, even if they put it on the table for him, he doesn't care because it's all about political patronage. Guys in the trenches. Weah should not come to the White House. He should not come to this summit. If what is happening right now, if I were Weah, I would be on the next flight to Liberia. And that's why I wrote something here as a student of leadership, that Weah does not understand what we consider magnitudinal crisis. Magnitudinal crisis, he doesn't know what that means. For him, everything is, water under the bridge. But the magnitude of this crisis, no census. The process is flawed. And you really want to come to go to see your son at the World Cup at the expense of the Liberian people, at the expense of the country. Come on, man. Your son may play for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You can watch it on TV. I will pack my bags and I will return to Liberia and put things in order. Samuel Toure must be arrested and tried.
I agree.
Nathaniel McGill must be arrested, probed, and prosecuted. Bill Twelve, Serena Seaford saying he lawyer and he chief prosecutor, let him prosecute himself out of his criminality. But an action has to be taken. And I'm hoping that the American embassy, the international community, because even right now there's frowns on the managing director of Forestry Development Authority who is on this trip, I heard, with Weah. He's also being frowned on for corrupt practices. So every corner you turn in Weah's government is corruption. The health minister, the finance minister, the state minister, the National Port Authority managing director. And these are all areas. The agriculture minister. These are no small institutions that must have integrity, and the leaders must be of integrity. This man has compromised our country, and he has compromised our country to the lowest. But that's why the people say you can take the man out of the bush, but you can't take the bush out of the man. It's just a Liberian parable.
Mm-hmm.
This man has nothing to do with leadership. The low position he played in the national team of Liberia, we couldn't go nowhere. I continue to do an analysis and put, or analogy rather, and put his presidency and the national team. They're running side by side. The man runs a credible club.
Mm-hmm.
This man cannot lead our country for the next 6 years after this term. Weah must go. And whoever fooling him to think that he will win the presidency by hook or crook, it could plunge our country into a deeper abyss. Come in, Moses.
Yeah, you said it all. Mr. Weah has not only proven to Liberians, but he has proven to the world that he's not a leader. Liberians made a mistake in 2017 when they elected him, and that mistake can be corrected come 2023. I want people who consider themselves patriots, nationalists, to do this for Liberia. This cannot be about individuals. It cannot be about party. Liberia went through 14 years of civil war. Salif and the others came, they stabilized the situation. Yeah, they may not have done 100% because nobody is 100%, but at least we have some level of stability. But the Weah administration has eroded everything. Every news that emanates from Liberia is negative. How do you compromise the national census that has the capability of deciding the future of the country? How you plan for health? How you plan for education? Political planning. Who gets represented? What district gets created? Education. Job creation. All of these are driven by what? Your national census. And you have a bunch of criminals looting the country. And you have a president who himself has no clue in terms of what he's doing. The man doesn't pay attention to anything that calls detail. He's not meticulous. All you want is people bring stuff to him and say, oh, Baku is strong. He follows. He doesn't read. He doesn't comprehend anything happening around him. I mean, he's just a terrible representation of what people call leadership. George Weah is an epitome of the tyranny of democracy. And Mr. Weah has to go. Mr. Weah must go 2023, Liberians. I would like to join you, Volcano, and join all Liberians. It is not about any political party. We are talking because we want a better Liberia for our people. George Weah has failed Liberia. And the people must let this man go. the country has become ungovernable. Complete failure in the breakdown of rule of law. You have a finance minister literally depleting the resources of the country, diverting them to personal, use. And you have a
And you
man
know
sitting
how many boards this guy is sitting on? Because was he the board
several.
chairman for Water and Siwa?
I'm not too sure, but
Yeah, because
by
every
getting the
so
position he holds, yeah,
he's heading these boards because it is the conduit which he can move monies here and there and create
yeah,
bogus company and put those monies in there outside of the PPC mandate, because companies should go through the procurement process to procure for government's contract.
yeah.
And he creates a rather a
A
bogus
company,
company in the Ivory Coast,
yeah,
and monies are being put there. But let's come
thousands
back
of
to
dollars,
Alex. Let's come back to
thousands of.
Alex Williams.
Yes, Mr. Williams, yeah.
Alex Williams said he was put in jail for this CDC government.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Williams said that if 2018 was the reverse, he would vote again for Weah. Alex Williams said that's how much he believed that Weah was going to change the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Williams said that they were the front line trench commanders, the Jefferson, Koji, all of them, and they fought for this revolution. I've always thought about what revolution did they fight for. The CDC government did not come into power as a result of a revolution, or the party did not come into being as a result of a revolution. It was an opportunity for a band of young
People to lead.
Young men with no wealth
Mm-hmm.
to get an opportunity to hit the jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
And George Weah, after squandering his own wealth, but his popularity was the premise for which he came to prominence, and to have taken our country on the illiteracy in the first place of thousands and thousands, if not millions, of Liberians who voted him into power on the premise that he was a young man from Gibraltar and he would have understood the plight.
Yeah.
Later, they didn't know that in 1987, we had left Liberia for the Cameroon to first play for Tonnerre Clara Cup,
Mm-hmm.
and then went on to AS Monaco, and then his career took off. So Weah was no longer sleeping on mat.
No, he was way up there.
Weah has acclimated to the good life. And in the period of his acclimation to the good life, he overspent, he overindulged in things that were not building the future, and so he squandered his money. And he felt that coming back to the Liberian people and seeking the presidency will have put him back even in a better shape, which he has enjoyed today, Moses. But in the process, when you're building your regiment, you need to find people who are thinking like you,
Yeah.
who are in the same boat with you, and you all are in this together. The stealing that Samuel Tour is doing, the stealing that Nathaniel McGill, who will come into next, is doing or has done, the stealing that Bill Tourway did, the stealing that the other guys, all of them, all of them, Moses, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Weah cannot tell me he has no clue. When Alex Williams said that he had communicated with President Weah through WhatsApp, because I tell you, in secret quarters, Weah communicates more by WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Because WhatsApp protects conversation, certain conversation. So he does more communication through WhatsApp. And he got all of that information.
Of course he did.
So for him not to act on those information, it makes him an accomplice, and the biggest accomplice to all of this corruption in the country. And again, we're saying to the American embassy, the ambassador just spoke. He said, I want to reiterate that the people that are on sanction, We see them passing around. And I'm sure the loud noise Nathaniel McGill is making, he's about to build road in Margibian County and all of that. The American ambassador also that the money the guy stole, he put in one,
Yeah.
two, three, four, five rest bag. Now he want to go in the Senate, so he trying to hey, breaking ground, he getting in
Oh
California.
yeah, the map background.
We'll
Yeah,
come to him. But
yeah.
I'm just trying to say all of these guys, Weah is aware because his cut is coming and is coming in high proportion, Moses. And the Liberian people are sitting there. Just the other day, you were jumping over a fence, women climbing over that high fence of the Freeport with barbed wire to get rice. Today, the few rice on the market, they said that plastic. The Chinese making all kind of crap now to kill us because they want to take our land. We'll come back to that too.
Okay.
And honestly, nothing is happening for this country. This man, all is about this George Weah guy. And when he get among these leaders, he doesn't even know how to represent. They make him better speak English. What is he telling these guys? What is he saying to these guys? Only to be in a photo op? Is that what this president goes around the place for? What is he? The man has not refined.
No.
The man has not refined. And you just got all these young boys just stealing all over the place and becoming millionaires overnight at the expense of these poor people.
People, yeah.
And they're sitting there and they're jumping around, and we'll deal with them tonight. Because the one that they're doing for Nathaniel McGill, when I finish with the Liberian people tonight, it will not be easy. They themselves are their own worst enemies. They themselves are their own problems. They themselves are the reason why they will be in degradation, in poverty. Because they got political Apollo. They can't see around them. They're stupid. Millions of Liberian people are stupid. And they're so stupid to the point that the very man that steals from you, he comes to build your road. Where was Nathaniel McGill the other day? Where did he take money from? He couldn't even
pay own rent.
To a one-room apartment.
The man could not afford own
Chapia,
rent.
you remember the thing we got Chapia?
Yeah, man could
Chapia
not.
the road to a one-room apartment. Now he's able to build road through Margibian County.
Yeah.
Where he took the money from?
He took the money from. Where did he?
So
But look,
this is the problem, man. This is our people just so stupid.
yeah,
You think
look.
we're scooped to that kind of stuff?
No, but look, Volcano, what I can tell you in summary is that over the years we have had problem with malfeasance, corruption in the public sector. But what the Weah administration has done is that the administration has normalized dishonesty as a way of life. So right now, anybody you're doing business with, if you don't cheat, then they say you're stupid. Oh my man, look at the first thing I am told before when someone is appointed, right, or when someone is hired at a job, the first thing they may ask, "Oh my man, the guy chopping there. What are you talking about?" When you are hired with a salary, and you asking somebody whether you got chopping. What do you call chopping? Eh?
Sometimes
So
the men can pick where they want to go because of
yeah,
money.
the people, a police officer will literally plead with his commander and say, "Hey, my man, just keep me at the port. My man, you can't move me from this assignment." Because what? He's literally extorting money from commercial drivers in the open. So everywhere you go to the finance ministry. I am told when you go to process one paper, in fact, you have had similar experiences. People ask you, "Oh, you know, my man, this is what you need to do before you do this." You go to the bank to make withdrawal from your own account. Somebody tell you, say, "Oh, my man, yeah, you came for $2,000, but we don't have that amount of money here. But anyway, you need to give me another $50 so I can talk to my manager." What are you talking about? I went to withdraw my money and then you say, "I should give you extra $50. So I'm saying to you that this guy have what normalized, have made the practice of dishonesty, have made corruption a way of life in Liberia. That's why Mr. Weah must go. George Weah has to go. Re-electing re-electing George Weah 2023 will take Liberia nowhere. The country is in crisis.
And magnitudinal crisis. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yes.
not just an ordinary. The magnitude of the crisis.
You want to
is-
better
is-
elaborate on
is-
that for our many listeners, Volcano?
So
Go
you have
ahead
crisis
and
and
better
you have
elaborate on
crisis.
that. Yeah.
You have crisis and you have crisis that have reached magnitudinal proportion.
Right.
But these crises are not just one. They are back-to-back crises. And each of them need delicate solution. When you talk about what brought our civil war, when you talk about what brought the 1980 coup, injustices, lack of freedom of speech, the lack of rule of law, corruption, and all of these malfeasances people speak about
Yeah.
are tied to our crisis. And then you come right back. You have a rice crisis.
Mhm.
You have people disappearing, dying here, there, and yonder. That's a crisis. When
Yeah.
your members of society are being killed, unexplained death, that's a crisis. People going missing,
Nobody cares.
that's a crisis.
Nobody cares.
You understand me?
Mhm.
Corruption at its peak,
Yeah.
sanction on your stalwarts, that's a crisis. Then you have census. Then you leave the country for more than 7 weeks. That's a crisis.
Yeah.
Because I have checked the records everywhere. I've never seen a president leave his country for more than 7 weeks
But
on an ordinary trip. We're not talking medical.
that is unheard of in today's world.
So
It is
that's a
unheard
crisis,
of.
Moses. So
That's a serious
these are
crisis.
the incalculable magnitudinal crisis I'm talking about.
Yeah.
From one crisis to the next,
Yeah.
this brother doesn't seem to get it
He still
because
does.
he lacks the understanding and the magnitude of these crises. Then this young man, disclosure of his finance minister corruption. Weah should be on the plane tomorrow to Liberia and put some semblance of civility, peace, and accountability in place. Then if he wants to go back, any man can charter a plane, he got money now. He
Yeah,
can
the
charter a
man,
plane.
Baba man. The bill got a lot
You
of
understand
money.
me?
That man decide he can get on the plane
The World Cup
tonight.
is not till Sunday.
Yeah,
And
man.
I don't think America playing Sunday. I gotta look at the fixture. So he can still go back to wherever.
Yeah, making get
But
on the
this
plane and go to
president
Labrador tonight. Yeah.
must act. So Moses, let me say this quick. So when the young man was making his plea to President Weah, it brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
You can hear the passion in this kid's voice. But before we go to our next segment, let me deal with Kev Hassan. And I want you to join me.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Kev Hassan, I don't know him personally, but from what I see on Spoon, he's an man.
He's an
For someone to
embarrassment.
put Kev Hassan, who has lacked the eloquence to even champion the cause of the CDC because his presentability is so idiotic, it so doesn't make sense, it so doesn't add up, and it bothers me for him to sit among intellectuals who are deliberating on issues, and he comes back to deliberately throw a subterfuge in the conversation. Tonight, he said that the young man is talking only because Samuel Toer did not give him the job to be the director general. Had he gotten the job, would he have spoken what he's saying? But do you think that Samuel Toer did not know this boy stood for principle? That's why he did not give him the job, even though he's overqualified and all of them.
Yeah.
He knew that this boy was not going to succumb to his corruption.
Mhm.
So that's why they even took him from being a signatory
From
to the
that
LISGIS accounts. So Kev Hassan, you should not be so blind that you back wrong. In the first place, it is rumored that you're making $30,000 a month. Why are you being called honorable? Why are we using these honorifics and terms against the people who are not honorables names? Why are we putting honorable to Kev Hassan name? What is his job? What is his role? To sit there quietly, and then after he hears everything, then he throws a crap out there? Kev, I don't know you. You don't know me. We just see each other. But I tell you, an embarrassment. You're not propagating for the Weah government, because even in the support of the Weah government, you should call a spade a spade. You should have hung your head down. You should have walked out of the room. You should have not been on this show, because you can't do any defense. You don't have the articulation. You cannot do it. You cannot. And I'm sure your friends are not making you feel bad because you're on the show and they want to respect that. But if I were one of the guests tonight, Kev, I think they would have ended the show. That shows your limitation. That shows your hate for your country. When you sit there and defend the CDC in all of these, what you call evidence thrown out here. And this young man made his passionate plea to this president that in the last minute he scored goals for AC Milan, and he still has the opportunity to score goal and score big on some of these things that are happening. Instead of you buttressing that information, you don't do it. But before you come in, Moses, then Eugene Falcon said, Kev, I'm surprised at you. And Eugene Falcon went on to name all of the good guys who, when they speak the truth, George Weah threw them out of the government.
Yeah.
The ones who say, Imperial, you're well dressed, but he's butt naked, are the ones he's keeping. So this shame. So who pays Kev Hassan? Is he being paid by the taxpayers, monies of Liberia, to sit on spoon and propagate negativity against the Liberian people and projecting nothing for this government, this so-called government that he can't defend? What type of nonsense is this, Moses?
Look, Volcano, if I were
Moses,
the head,
I thought. So Nathaniel McGill, did you see that blip he did? He's all on social media right now, and Ahmad Freeman is saying that the man said he entered LU 2005 and graduated 2001. So he had a reverse education. So Kev Hassan, according to Ahmad and McGill, went to LU.
So you have 2005 graduated 2001.
Yeah, all on Facebook, all over the place.
But look, let me just talk a little bit about Kev Hassan, and like I always do, I had to put people down, but
I don't.
But sometimes you have to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, Moses, this is a Liberia now.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I'm headed.
You have to face me intellectually.
If it is a spade, it's just a spade.
Yes.
You just call it a spade.
Yeah, I would be ashamed.
I would
be ashamed.
If I were Mr. Spoon, the owner of Spoon Network, Kev Hassan would not be a panelist on the Spoon Talk.
That the man boy,
he likes
Kefiko when you that means they were eating the same thing. When you have a man calling you Kefiko and giving you play name, man, that the man boy.
Let me give you a couple of reasons why Kev
go ahead,
will not be a panelist on Spoon Talk. Kev lacks the intellectual capability to be a panelist. First, he doesn't speak English. And one of the fundamental problems he has is that he doesn't know verb subject agreement. Have you listened to him?
My brother.
So if anyone who wants to go into communication, anyone who wants to be a panelist, anyone who wants to go into communication, he wants to be a speaker, you should be able to speak English with fluency.
Look, Thomas, why you say CDC should get a reform? Who make Kev spokesman for CDC? And so all the money that they pay.
Look, it is being reported out there that Kev is getting some behind the scene financial reward for what he does.
I mean,
And
grandma.
if yeah, if he's being paid or if he's getting some financial reward, then I will agree with Thomas that that money has to be refunded. Because the man's not doing anything, my man. The man is more of an embarrassment to the government, it's more of an embarrassment to Spoon Talk than being of service. He's a distraction. Whenever people are discussing issues, he lacks the ability to comprehend the issues that have been discussed, and most of the time he's completely off tangent. His thoughts are so disorganized, disoriented. So why waste my time on Kev? And tonight I would like to join you. Mr. Spoon would like to call on you. Please rethink Mr. Hassan's continuous presence on Spoon Talk.
But it was made clear that the man is a representation of the government.
But that doesn't mean
if that's the best that CDC can put out there.
Yeah, but that
then,
doesn't mean that he has to be an idiot. Kev Hassan is an idiot. He's an idiot. He lacks the ability. He doesn't comprehend the contemporary politics. So how can you have such a man coming to speak for the Liberian government or being a champion of the Liberian government? The man is not up to the task. So they need to get him off. Volcano. Yeah, they need to get him off.
Reader.
My F grader listen to Kev. This man is trying to say. Look, man, Kev is a distraction. Let us now focus on him.
No, I thought to throw that in there because no, Moses, it was important for me to bring this up because when I'm crying, when I'm sitting there and I'm going into the future of our country.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the next, year into elections and with the census not being held at this point, no telling whether the census will be held.
No.
I'm here, in a pensive mood, thinking beyond the horizon. And here's a guy who's, putting, again, as I said, a total subterfuge in the conversation.
Completely off track, my man. The man's always off track.
Life is on the line. This man's life is on the line.
Yeah.
This man is taking the greatest risk of his existence.
Yeah.
To throw out here, big man Samuel Tuer, because we are dependent on Samuel Tuer.
Of course.
Big man.
Do you know the number of presidents?
To throw the magnitude of his corruption out here. And then you sit there and say, because the man didn't get the director general job. Oh, yes, he didn't get the director general job because he was not going to scoop to the corruption and the corrupt practices under Samuel Tuer being the board chair. You have pointed fingers and you have said something. You understand me?
Yeah.
But that's why he didn't get a job, and that's why they took him as a signatory to the LISGIS account. And so for you to say that the man, I'm coming more for you to say that the man, if Samuel Tuer to gain the job, while he going to be talking, he will be talking.
He will be talking. But the man started talking long time.
I heard the passion in his voice. And
the man been talking long time, man.
This young man should be respected for what he's saying.
He's a hero.
Taking the greatest risk, not just for him, his family. In this dark Monrovia, where people going around hunting people, and you find the bodies the next day. This man took a risk. And Kev Hassan should be ashamed to even question the integrity of the documentation he presented. He should have walked out of that studio tonight or out of his living room, wherever he was sitting, and just say, I can't even help this one. He should have thrown the towel in, because Eugene Fagon, who has been,
a diehard supporter,
said, Kev, I am disappointed in you. Sometimes you got to look at the greater good of society and take the personal self out. Kev is sitting there because he's getting $30,000, as was said by one of the guests on Spoon, that he could not refute. However, he getting $30,000 a month. Of course, yes. They said Bien Kesali from Maritime on the Ellen government making $30,000 a month.
Okay.
But these things, people getting free money around here, Moses, but at the detriment of our people. So let me
Yeah.
just go
So,
to intermission, then you come in quick.
okay, sure. Go ahead.
We'd like to welcome all of you, our viewers, tonight. We're in the Issues Room, our 104th edition. Tonight, conversation is about our country. It's about what is trending right now. As you all know, our census is not being held. People are still claiming that the census is on course, but in actuality, we folks who have said no one has shown up to the houses to do the count. The young man said it's not just about the number. He talked about many facets of the census process. And
Yes.
if those people who are going as enumerators, the fake enumerators put together by Samuel Tour and the other guy who was dismissed, uh, they won't be able to get credible census that will be respected international community. We will be coming to Nathaniel McGill and his continued desire to be in the Senate, while Margibians are now referring to him as senator. That's the magnitude of stupidity of our people. That's the gullibility of our people. That's what you get when you don't know your rights. And then we'll also be looking at what was that last stuff on the bullet? Because I
Yeah.
lost my
No.
train.
Yeah. No. Basically,
Oh,
those are
Mr.
the key
Weah, Mr.
issues.
Weah,
Yeah.
Mr. Weah, Mr. Weah prosecuting and probing
Yeah.
as he promised, because
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
like
McGill. Yeah.
left him to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to welcome some folks here tonight. Edward Beamer, great to have you in the house. Thomas Awaji, always it's good to see you. Flomo Livingstone, Benjamin Jonah, it's good to see you in the house, my brother. Welcome to the Issues Room. Emmanuel Jackson from Massachusetts, J.S. Romeo Nabil, it's good to see you here tonight. Again, Ahmad Freeman, Al Dompoy, that's my man Abbasin Dompoy, I'm sure. It's good to see you, my brother. Welcome to the Issues Room. We're having conversation here around our country and where we are, and it seems as though the crisis never stops. I see River says Pro is in the house. Welcome. The Issues Room is on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And at this time, with the time changed, here in the US, it's now midnight, wherever you are in the Greenwich time zone, particularly Liberia. We're here to discuss the things that matter, and so many things on the table tonight, Moses. Um, should we
So
just
many
move
things.
on now to
Yeah.
the
Quickly, I
okay?
just wanted to say that uh Mr. Will Mr. Will Alex Williams, that the president dismissed. There's a law in Liberia called
Reportedly
whistleblower.
dismissed because the
Yeah,
boss
before
I
that,
had resigned
before
before.
that, because the mayor resigned. He resigned prior to the president's dismissal. Okay, but under the laws of Liberia, there's what they call whistleblower law, and the law protects people who blow whistle on issues regarding malfeasance in the public sector. So how can Mr. Weah, who quote unquote claim to be fighting graft, reportedly dismissing somebody who risks his life, who risks the safety of his family, to say, hey, we have a problem of LISGIS. The problem was investigated. LSCC, LSCC indicted what? Mr. Smith and Mr. Lawrence George for malfeasance. And you quote unquote dismiss the man who blew the whistle in violation of this law that protects him? George Weah, where are you? Do you read? Who are your legal advisors? Oh man, this man is a disgrace. Let me stop there.
So at some point we'll be opening the lines shortly, but we quickly want to just go into the next conversation. So the American ambassador just reiterated, uh, those guys being on sanction. He was reminding folks that listen, I see you guys under the table trying to do business, but I want to remind you, if you do business with these guys, you yourself stand a chance of facing sanction. We come back to the conversation, Moses.
Yeah,
President Weah uh, dismissed those guys under duress.
right.
The pressure was on. He had no alternative. but he did not do what he was supposed to do.
No.
Sanction charges were put before him as the president and said, these are your folks who are impeding the progress of your country.
Right.
And the Liberian people are the ones suffering. We need you to take action. Here are the evidence. When you receive that, you know that if there were no evidence in the sanction report, Weah wouldn't have caved in, because those were the hardened criminals who were bringing the bags of monies to him.
Yeah.
I'm told that Weah receives $300,000 every month for spending cash.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But in close circle, the areas where they collect these monies are the National Port Authority, the Ministry of Commerce, the LRA, the Ministry of Finance, the LPRC. These institutions must put $300,000 every month to bring to Weah Jamaica Resort.
So what does he do with the money?
It's alleged. I'll say it again. It's alleged.
And
But this conversation was held in closed circle.
acting on that, right? The hypothetical question here is, what does he do with that money?
He said that he has to take care of so many things. People, issues, blah, blah, blah. So the man is already getting probably 5 times his salary, because they say he makes 40,000 or so. So about 6 times his salary every month.
And this
So
man
why
has
would
spent-
the man
Go ahead.
be filthy rich if you're getting 300 grand every month? Now let somebody say where you took that information from. Well, the source of the information doesn't have to be disclosed.
No.
It was in locker room talk.
Yeah.
Or it could have been the liquor talk. But that was what was said during my stay in Liberia the past March, April, and May.
Okay.
In Liberia, privy to some degree of good conversation and sitting with people.
Yeah.
And the stress was on some of those people who he appointed that they could not meet the obligation, especially during the pandemic, when the situation was that bad, how he expected them to bring the monies to him.
Yeah.
You understand me? But I say this to mean that so the president knows that the information provided by the American government was very succinct, and there was some evidence to that degree that he was obliged to put those people out of work by dismissing them.
Yeah.
But it's not just the dismissal. It's the promise of probing and prosecuting if they were found guilty. So what has happened now? It's been 3 months, and the American ambassador was reiterating, because even the EU has said is frowning on the current managing director of the Forestry Development Authority, who is also in corrupt practices and is stalling the process of FDA. And he's currently on the trip where we are. Did these guys know that all of these things were happening or going to happen? That's why he packed up all his men to run away. You got caught, I won't run away.
It's a Liberia, as we say in Liberia.
All these guys could just go on for 7+ weeks.
Yeah.
Who leaves the country for 7+ weeks?
My man, it's a joy ride. It's a joy ride.
I wanted to say to you, Moses, is Weah serious about fighting graft? Is he going to come back to Liberia and begin an independent probe, and they found guilty, prosecute? Because Nathaniel McGill, because of the stupidity and gullibility of the Liberian people, particularly the Margibians, they may could be senator. Who knows? And I'll be surprised if the Elections Commission, and I'll remind them again, decide that they will accept his application to run as senator. Moses.
Yeah, I would say that the risk associated with Mr. McGill being elected senator of Margibi, or Mr. McGill returning to government, the risks associated with that, there are just too many, consequences. Too many. You clearly articulated that. You quoted the U.S. ambassador as saying that anyone or any institution that does business with the former minister McGill, Bill Tuaway, and Serena Sifo run the risk of what? Sanction. So that means if Mr. McGill is elected today, hypothetically, as senator of Margibi, who is he going to do business with? What committee will he be a part of that will not run in trouble with the Americans? What international group will Mr. McGill engage to do business with in the name of Margibi that will not run the risk of running into trouble with the U.S. government? Whether you and I like it or not, Volcano, the United States is the world leader. America leads and the world follows. Isn't that true?
Yep.
We have seen many things that happen in Liberia. Our former president that is today in prison, what got him there? The superpower. Mr. Taylor is in prison today because of what? The superpower. And the superpower is continuously telling Liberians that you are taking a risk. You are taking a risk. We told this man, we told Mr. Weah for this man to get out of government because he was a threat to Liberia's national progress and stability. And you got a bunch of, young men. Have you seen the people who follow this man around? A bunch of young men. That's what they do. They prey on our young people, the young adults. Look, Volcano, our situation back home is very sad.
But look at that big woman. Look at that big woman who was passing around. The men are talk and do.
They're talking,
In fact, the
yeah.
men
I
still
will
are
vote for
senator
it.
now. The
Yeah,
men
the
are
man are
senator.
saying that.
Our bonds see no role in the area. The men come and bring road. I get got money to bring road.
Yeah, I saw that
Is that
video.
your own money he stole from you?
Of course.
What type of country is this, by?
For the fact that Mr. Weah asked Mr. McGill, Mr. Tuaway, and Councillor Serena Sifo to resign, it means that he himself look at the evidences against those or the charges against those guys, and he concluded that, hey, the Americans have something genuine against these people. If I were in his position as a president, I will not dismiss anybody in my government if I am not convinced. But if I ask you to resign against your will and you resign, it means that I have something tangible against you. And not only did he ask them to resign, he said he will constitute what? A committee for a probe. So I think this is where all Liberians, or this is why all Liberians are saying that, hey, Mr. President, we want you to bring the former minister, Mr. Tuaway, and Councillor Sifos to book. Try these people. Investigate them. Investigate them. You either hold them accountable, or if you don't have the evidence to prove your case, then you let the people go. You free them. But these people must be charged and prosecuted.
So, just giving them, putting them on a job, make them to think that they're free now. And the
Yeah,
other
they ain't
guys
no
are
free.
sitting down, taking it light, and they're holding on to their money. But that
Yeah,
Nathaniel McGill thing, he's so popular. When you put 25 or 30 pen, pay the people
yeah,
that $10 and say,
yeah.
come,
It's a
make
account,
convo for me.
hmm
And then they
That's
start
why.
blowing horn and running all over the place. Pom,
Yeah,
pom, pom, pom. So he just feels he's still relevant. Nathaniel McGill, you would not be relevant. The
my girl,
issues will put it on you with pressure the Liberian people. You will not enter the Senate.
my girl
You
cannot, and he
you
will
cannot
not.
go. You cannot go to the University of Liberia in 2005 and graduate 2001. They will allow you, McGill, to go in the Senate. What are you going to propagate?
Yeah,
What
what are
laws
you
you going
gonna
to
do?
write?
Yeah,
What
what is she
standing
thinking?
committee?
Uh-huh.
What standing committee you going to sit on? What
Yeah,
credibility you have to go in the House of Senate? What's the credibility? It will just be kickbacks. It will
of
just be
course.
a lot of bribes. That's all you're going to be doing. You're going to be confirming people. You're going to take money the same way you were selling positions because you were in the limelight and you were giving jobs. You were selling positions to deputy ministers and ministers who were coming to be sworn in. You were crossing money with the Senate so that you could confirm all these unqualified people. You did
But
too
look,
much in the country.
look,
Too much.
the former deputy minister of information for public affairs, Eugene Fagom, it is reported that he disclosed publicly that he paid $10,000 for his job.
So that African stole money, he packed together and went to Liberia. You got it.
My get $10,000 from the man, my man, and he's just one man. And, my get what it's serious business, my man. The man, because what George Weah is an idiot. Every less that they talk to him, he just said, "My man, go ahead and do what you
Look at
got
the
to
thing the
do."
guy did with a girl from
Yeah.
Kenya. Look at that kind of trouble.
Yeah.
Internship. She did not even graduate. Completed
No.
her graduation. Then you got our man Darlington Pitting for, not Pitting, sorry.
Yeah,
Darlington
and that
Conley.
Conley, yeah.
Conley, sorry, Pitting for calling your name. Darlington Conley.
I mean, yeah, pointing
The man,
people all over
the
the
man
place.
doesn't
Yeah.
even have a bachelor's degree as enshrined
Mm-hmm.
in the legislative act
That
that
created the
created
agency.
Liberia
Yeah.
Aviation Authority. And then, someday I can be
He
pushed to
nominated
say
the
something,
man to be director general.
but
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
restrain.
Yeah.
But Milton Tiaje, of a man who I had respect for, that's why I used the word had, sat there and said, "But my man, how much credit you got? Hey, you got 90 credit, but the man got more than
More than
20
a
credit.
bachelor's. Yeah.
But this is not credit hour. This is just job training. There's a difference in when you go to school and earn credit hour academically, and when you go on the job and you get job training for the hours. Two different kind of hour. Your credit hour is determined by a semester.
Of
It's
course.
not dependent on because you went to work today and say, okay, I'll give you two hour training.
It's per semester.
Then we'll give you another 2 hour training here, 1 hour training here. Then you tabulate those training hours. Then you say, now the man qualified.
Yeah,
So you want to put those work training hour to the equivalent of college credit hours. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And the man had to come back and say he even know the resume that
he said what they have on the executive mansion, website doesn't represent what he presented.
Yeah.
So the man contradicted the office of the president, my man.
Yes, the office of the president. And in reliable conversation, Darlington is still in Liberia and is acting managing director
at the port, at the airport.
In reliable conversation.
Oh wow!
Because the young man too, he's braggadocious. He loves to talk.
Yeah.
So it's easier to make the man acting, put him there to be acting,
and while he gets paid at the expense of the people,
rather than go to confirmation and be proper. That's the story. Wow. But some of us will talk these things. I don't have problem with Darlington. And whatever
it's nothing personal. It's about principle. Yeah, it's about principle.
Yeah, if he has the qualification, I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I like to see young people make progress. I myself, as a young man, I love to see progress.
Yeah,
but it
this is
shouldn't be at the detriment of the country's progress.
yeah,
Give
this
me
is
the
the
job that I'm qualified for based on my resume that commensurate with my experience, and I'm fine with it. I don't have to be minister. Just pay me for my value. I've said this repeatedly on this platform. There are
I
many
mean,
areas in Liberia I can make contribution to. Many, many areas.
man, all I need is make me a
You know,
janitor. Make sure you allow me to do my
every day,
janitorial
Moses,
work,
every
and
day,
that's
this
it.
man will just take all kinds of people and just appoint them. He doesn't know them from nowhere. He doesn't probe their resume. He doesn't go further to dig into, because once you, Mr. President, and you appoint this person and say subject to confirmation hearing, the confirmation hearing on that on the table. We can pay some money and get it. But you just added more liabilities to the Liberian people.
Yeah, more breading. Yeah,
When these people cannot deliver in the subject matter,
the country suffers.
the country suffers. The progress is not
And
going to be made.
and Volcano, a graphic example of what we're just talking about is the current situation at LISGIS. You appoint someone as acting director general of LISGIS who has no clue in terms of what the responsibilities, the job duties and responsibilities are for the position he occupied. All
So
he
you know
did
what I
was
wrote here, Moses?
no.
As part of my notes,
Hmm.
I wrote right here: gross lack of regards for the Liberian electorates.
Yeah. The
It's a
blood one.
gross lack of regards.
Yeah, no regard. No
We does
regard.
not regard the Liberian people, and I use the
No.
word electorates because these are the people who will go to the polls come October 10th, I believe, next year,
Yeah.
if I get the date right, to vote the next president
President. Yeah.
in power. He's shown
And
that he doesn't give a damn about these people,
he doesn't care.
but they don't even care about their own well-being in the future. So Moses, let me open the line quick. As we
Yeah,
continue the
open the
conversation.
line and let me just say that Mr. McGill is not doing himself anything good. He's creating more problem for himself.
But we're coming to that.
Oh, okay,
Coming to
yes.
that. He's the last bullet here. So I just want to remind you folks, the number to call is 404-272-2808. 404-272-2808. Don't be listeners, be contributors.
Yeah,
Don't
be
sit
a
there
part
and do
of the
something. I
discussion.
remember the
Yeah.
days of the ignorant government when we're trying to regain our sanity as a people. There were a lot of little jingles here and there we used to play on ELBC radio. So don't sit there. Call and participate. We want to hear from you. Your contribution is very pertinent to the conversation tonight. Don't be afraid. Listen, we're already in the fire.
We
Right
gotta
now,
speak up.
right now, I don't care again. All
We got
that professional diplomacy. The only thing we're not use profanity. We're not signal out and insult anybody, but we'll be as profoundly stern when it comes to the conversation regarding Liberia and where our country is going. Again, we'll put this disclaimer out here. We'll put this clarity out here. The issues room is tied to no political party. I have no political affiliation in Liberia. I don't have any tie to any political party. I'm a sympathizer of the Liberian people. I mean well for our country, and that is why I will sit here and have this conversation. And even if it means that people can make me enemy, that's on you.
it's on them.
But it's about our country. Let me tell you, welcome. Thank you, my brother, for coming through. Jusu Lane Petitquois. It's good to see you in the house. Florence Kingsley. Listen, never late than never. Good to see you, Florence. Thank you for coming through. Mapu Hall. Rivers Pro, my man. Yeah, welcome. Hey, the pro. What the pro gonna say here tonight again?
But let the pro
Let me
ring
bring
us
the pro
now.
in. The pro is calling. The pro, you see, the pro getting nervous. He know what the CDC destiny is now. Mr. Pro,
Yeah.
I know. My man,
Yeah,
listen.
pro, we got you, man.
Did you listen to Alice Williams? Listen, if you are a sedition, you should be ashamed. You should implore the president to right now fire Samuel Toy, take him off the boards, all of the boards he's sitting on, remove him from finance ministry. The evidence are there. The man is a hiding criminal, and you know it. You from the CDC know the boy can lie the way he can talk. How the man will sound weird $2.5 million money to go on this 7-week spree, and he still don't know how much he's found. That's to tell you these guys don't give a damn. They don't care about the well-being and the intelligence of the Liberian people. Come
Yeah, man. Look, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Just
are.
try to project a little.
Oh, I say, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm very, look, I'm perplexed. I'm frustrated. Not in the sense that, because look, I know a lot of those, especially with the Nathaniel McGill. You know, I got a friend. He always send me this McGill clip in my inbox, and he would just read a caption, look at the crowd, and I'm thinking about this guy like, okay, and Volcano Moses. I'm thinking like, you know, I asked myself a question: um, if you had a kid that you love certain toy, but the toy got lead poisoning on lead on it, lead poisoning, will you still give it to your kid just because you love it? I try to tell this guy like, yeah,
Of course not.
those people, they are hungry, the crowd behind my kid.
That's
But
right.
look at the statement in the American Empire. I mean, look at that sentence over there. Isn't that enough? Are you considering the implication?
Yeah, the
And
implication.
you know, the man is going to be doing business directly with the entire Senate. He's going to be doing business with the government, with the very George Weah that you citizens say you love. Don't you think he's bringing this because of Nathaniel McGill? He's going to bring George Weah and our entire Senate in conflict with the American government. Are you guys really considering that, or is it just because plenty of people behind the man? So that and you know, Moses, so kind of my question I wanted to ask you guys is: don't you really think that we have our Senate and especially with the Senate, our lawmakers, don't you think they are being put in a predicament? Because okay, the Americans are saying that you cannot do business with this guy. So, but then I think constitutionally, I know you guys are open with the Constitution. I don't know if the election commission has the right to stop McGill.
All right, so let me answer your
do.
question quickly, and it's simple. It's simple. If the
Okay.
evidence are damning in the report put forth before President Weah under duress, he had to dismiss them. Then the obligation is on President Weah to make McGill a free man or a criminal and prosecute him and put him behind bars. That's the
Absolutely.
answer to the problem. Until Weah does that, then he is the person that the American government should not do business with, and Weah should not come to these United States come December to meet with Biden or at this conference of world leaders, because he lacked the moral character, the moral integrity, the moral rectitude to come and sit among world leaders, and he has all of these magnitudinal crises in his country that is not being addressed. So that's the way out. Weah must take the first step. Okay, if he prosecutes, probe and prosecute. And if
That's it.
McGill is free, then McGill has the constitutional right,
No right to go ahead.
to run. Then the elections commission can do business with him. But in the absence of that, then the onus is on the government. The first branch of government is the problem right now.
So and
why I'm confused now is that, so who's supposed to bring the burden of proof? Okay, so then the American government, they are setting
they had to River says Pro. If I come to you and you the boss for your department right now, and I say 3 of your employees been stealing, I can show you no proof. Will you fire them?
No.
Okay, right? I can't just put pressure on you and say fire the people.
fire
You
them.
don't have no proof. So I'm showing that in that sanctioned document there were evidence to show, and the people were very clear. The ambassador was clear as to some of the infractions, the things that McGill was doing that is is preventing the country from thriving. So those presentations had to do with money laundering or taking
money from business people.
Yes.
Diverting resources
So
for
the
the
evidence
country
were
to
there.
personal use. Yeah.
And you won't believe the American government could have sent some, what I would consider undercover investors.
Yes.
Just to prove some of these things. And then have evidentiary documents, videotapes and all of that. And put it before Weah. So Weah, the burden is on Weah to probe and persecute. And once
Yeah.
McGill is free, then McGill can now be a free man to run. But if he doesn't and McGill forces himself, then the integrity institution, the elections commission should say, listen, you have a sanction hanging on you. We can't do business with you because the American government is funding part of our work. So you understand that?
Yeah, before I leave, Moses, yeah, you made a great point. For kind of, yeah, I got a few seconds ago. You made a great point. I remember working at this grocery store, and they got these people, the owners of the place. You know, it's a small chain store. The owner, they came there as they call them secret shoppers. They will come there to see how the employees. And you know, one of these guys came. Not only he was one of the bosses, he came and asked me for certain things, and we're not supposed to say without. I mean, we don't know. You're supposed to say, "Oh, I will help you." And you know what I told the guy, the guy came, asked me for federal license. I said, "I don't know." He went straight to the supervisor. So you're right. Those people, those investors, people are sent there on the ground, you know, because the American ambassador, you know, they're very, very stringent with what they say. So they must have had credible evidence to this thing. So this is something serious, man. Georgia need to make a move. You know, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting scary. I don't know, man. Look, I don't know.
So River says, Pro, before I let you go, if I were to ask you, what have you benefited from being a sedition? What would you say over the last 5 years?
Nothing, zero, nada.
But then you need to be a Liberian and speak for
Oh,
Liberia.
never put that for the man for Canada. That's why people our own one guy show. He say, "Oh, but I say our name in Liberia, our in the refugee camp we have voted for this man. My only love for this man is based on what he, I mean, representing. I mean, I could talk about people that if Georgia is to know if they find evidence that that incriminate that man with all those things he's doing for Canada, they may pay my rent, they may pay nothing, anything to see everything. My love for Georgia, my love for country is low, but it's just that when I reach a point, I love for Canada. I'm a person that believe in the analysis. I believe in what innocent until proven guilty. That's
but how do you prove innocent or prove guilty when you don't do what you said you would do? Probe and prosecute.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
so we has that obligation, and we can leave many of these things undone and come here to sit among world leaders. He himself is incriminated by all of the actions of the people, his lieutenants that he put in places. So if he's not acting within the confines of the law and with transparency and accountability, he himself should be an accomplice and held liable. And so that invitation must be revoked by Joe Biden. I'm telling you honestly.
But you see, forget to ask a very good question. But then when I turn on my left side, where do I go? So then I think I just have to be a Liberian. I don't have to turn to any political party.
I already told you that's what we're doing. Just be on issues room. Just be on issues room fanatic. Join us so we can expand your horizon and understanding the depth of our country's problem and how we can solutionize it. Come together to work together for the common good of our country. I think that's where all of us who don't have political lineage right now, don't want to be tied to all of this conundrum, should stand, on our own moral high grounds and just preach the gospel. Preach. Talk to these people. Talk to the Liberian people. Hold these criminals forth to the fire and pressure the international community. I'm right now, I'm not talking opposition because, again, I got nothing to do with them. They haven't shown me anything.
Exactly.
In these hard tides, they have not shown me that they can navigate the Titanic out of this cool icy Pacific. I don't think they're doing much. So let you, myself, the Ama Fremont, the Thomas Awaji, the Lamin Tai, the Thomas my man
Awaji?
No, there's another Thomas. God, hold on. Yeah, let me get Thomas' name. Thomas.
What's about Sister Umo?
Yeah, Umu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas Harvey.
Yeah.
So all of
everybody,
us,
yeah.
We should be the new breeds.
Edward
new
Bima.
breeds
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. We talk about our country's issue rather than leave it all to these oppositions and people just make loud noise. All of them is all about the self. But thank you for coming to tonight, River says.
And now listen to your advice. Now, no more seed. I'm done with all these. I will just be on my issue right now.
Thank you. But
So yes, Moses. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's go back to.
Oh, you got a call? Okay, no.
No.
I just wanted to say that Mr. Weah will do well for Nathaniel McGill and the others if the government can begin a legal probe into the charges filed against these individuals. Failure to do so will equate to what? Aiding and abetting criminality in Liberia. So instead of they going behind the door and doing the typical Liberian thing, oh my God, we give you some money to you to run your campaign and go in the Senate, let them just do Liberia a favor by allowing these people to go through the legal process. Bill 12, Nathaniel McGill, Serena Cephas, institute a legal probe. If they are found guilty, you hold them accountable. If the charges or the allegations against them cannot be proven, then you set them free. Unless that happens, the future of these people will remain doomed. Because the Elections Commission that we're talking about, the NEC reports what? Receive monetary support from the American government. And the Americans have said it. Their support to the NEC will be affected if the government fails to uphold the rule of law in the country.
But Moses, think about it. Think about it. Why do you think America will not have the greater influence in many of these things? Just today, the young man Alex Williams talked about the census funding in the FNPA or whatever United Nations program.
Yeah, United Nations.
The census basket.
Yeah.
$24 million was the budget put forth.
Yeah.
How much the Liberian government contributed? $3 million. That's their composition.
Can you imagine?
So we're talking $21 million.
Million came from the international community.
$1 million coming from the international community. Yeah. Then you got stake. Your house there in Delaware.
Yeah, my house is leaking.
If I'm paying 80% of your mortgage, then your house?
No, the house for you.
That your house?
No. So and they're hanging here. You have absolute control of deciding when I can go out and when I can come back.
So the point I'm making here, Moses, and I want you to hear me out quickly, is if the census money, I would say that's about probably 92% is paid by the international community.
If I'm a man, more than 92.
I'm just giving you an estimate. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm just trying to be euphemistic here and generous to the Liberian government.
Yeah.
That amount is being paid by the international community. Then the $3 million that you're supposed to contribute as a Liberian government. Then you got Samuel Toy taking his share out.
Yeah.
And siphoning it. Mm-hmm. But you know what? You know why all of this rancors came out as a result of the whole census being a fiasco? Mm-hmm. Those guys were forcing a list of people who never trained, who were not real people. They were all ghosts. Mm-hmm. They were all ghosts. And at the list they wanted to send to the UNFPA or FN, whatever, I'm not getting it right, but the international group that supports our census.
For the census,
That was why this William Smith guy was pushing.
They were pushing against that
list. Yeah. And the young man, Alex Williams, said, no, the people we ready train, the few people we train,
they should be
paid because they understand the language, they understand the technicalities in how to say. Don't just go in the hall. How many people here? Oh, you're 5. Okay, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. You walk out. Instead of saying, what's the age? No. Who in school? Who got disability?
Who's the head of household?
Who's pregnant? All of those questions were part of this whole process.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we can define clearly the issues in the country and say this is where most of our international partners should focus.
Yeah.
We have a household with nobody in school.
Yeah.
If you don't ask that question, the people just say we'll fire.
Yeah. You want to know who is working, who is not working.
So was saying that the real guys the few people that trained should have been the one on the list. But the man said no, he won't bring his own list. And his list
Yeah.
was God's list.
But the man said, I think what 2 or 3 days before they could start the process, they brought a list of individuals.
Yes. That was not in the database.
No.
I mean, the guys are
but-
rogues. The people are rogues. How can you just steal from your country? At the
And
end of
what-
the day, where do you go?
And
When you leave
Volcano,
Liberia, Moses, when you leave Liberia in perpetual darkness, when you leave Liberia in perpetual degradation, when you leave Liberia with the lack of the incentives, the lack of hospitality, the lack of resources to keep the country amongst the community of nations, where do you go? They will give you resident status in places, but once that money run out,
of
you're on your
course,
own.
you're on your own.
You're gonna run back to Liberia? Why can't we just think for our country and say, let's do it so we all can come here and live here and be at peace?
So now,
Why do people just steal and steal and steal and steal? And some of them they steal. Oh, did I tell you what the American government is trying to do?
No,
You know how factual it is?
no.
But the American government is now pleading with the international community, particularly the British government, the EU, and other countries, that come January 2023, any US dollars printed in 2021
Oh,
will not
yeah.
be a legal tender.
Yeah.
So all the Samuel 12 and the McGill money, then I will print there. Let them hold on to it. Come 23,
Yeah.
zero.
Zero.
Those
Yeah.
US dollars would never be held anywhere.
No.
And they're doing it for Africa, particularly the
Because
political
they notice that people are
politicians
duplicating,
and the money launderer and the drug trafficking and all of that.
Yeah.
America can buy her own money easy.
Oh, yeah. Many people have, they can replenish easily.
So this is a serious matter. So if you got your 2021 bill, I'm going to look at my little small thing. I'm going to make sure.
But man, your money is in the bank, so you need not worry.
No, the little small one, guy. So I got a high list skinny cash. I'm going to look at it when if I see 2021, I'm going right now and go spend it because I won't forget about myself. My money be overflow you. But Moses, this is serious.
There's not a legal tender, my man.
This is a serious matter. Now the central bank, you saw the other thing, Luscious Talu, the other man who didn't even know his own
The bank
resume.
governor, the bank governor.
Bank.
Yeah, what is it?
The $5 and $10 coins out in next week. So they're coming to bring the coins on the market.
Yeah, look, the situation back home in Volcano is so sad. And
It's a circus, Moses.
Yeah,
circus.
But man, every day you watch the news, every day you talk to people from Liberia, it's just one crisis after another. One crisis after another. And the situation has really compounded as a result of Mr. Weah's inability to lead. The man is not in charge of anything in the country. Absolutely. He has no clue. He's completely disengaged. He's not in charge of anything. Why you think Nathaniel McGill became so powerful? Because Mr. Weah was never in charge of anything. McGill did what he needed to do. That why McGill became a millionaire overnight. And that's the same what stolen wealth. He throwing here and there.
I want you to dwell on the conversation around how the Margibian people, because this is the last segment now. How the Margibians are behaving. How these people are already calling the man senator.
But Volcano, I said it earlier that when we discuss the situation of Liberia, we have to look at it in a broader scope. And one of the things that Mr. McGill is using against our people now is poverty. Poverty. Look at those people that were behind the man. This man is literally throwing out hundreds of US dollars to people. I am told that he transport people from Monrovia to Margibi. He charter buses to transport people. Now, the question that we will ask is, Mr. McGill, where did you take all this money from? You spending like that loosely. Before you came to government, it is public record that you could barely afford to pay your rent. Your one bedroom that you used to live in, you could barely afford to pay that rent. In less than 6 years, Mr. McGill, you are now considered a quote-unquote millionaire in Liberia. Where did you take all this money from? As Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, your monthly salary did not exceed $7,000. So let's not even say we gave you $8,000 or gave you $8,000 a month. It means that you were making what, $96,000 a year. If you were making that $8,000, how will you go to pledge what? $200,000 to the other group, $100,000 to the other group. You're talking about what?
But Moses,
Building
I'll
a
pause-
road?
I'll
Yeah.
pause you there quick now.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, the man will have made 480,000, but that's $8,000 salary, right?
Yeah.
But that's taxation.
Yeah.
Under that same salary, he has to live.
Yeah.
He has
So
his
you
wife,
see
he
that?
has concubines, he has outside
Concubines,
children, he has
yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
480,000.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's just say he got stipends from some of his travel,
Yeah.
and let's just put him in a
But
ballpark.
let's say
come
you
in.
even,
What's
you
this?
even
What's
get
this?
a man what,
Really mad, man.
$600,000.
I want to see. Let's just put him. Let's just say we make him $750,000.
Yes.
But the money that he built house with, where did he take it from?
Wait,
The money that he built mausoleum for his mom, where did he take it
where
from?
take that money from?
There's a lot of, you see, so the
There are
Americans
too
will
many
not put
questions, my
sanction.
man.
The American will not put sanction on this guy who went to LU 2005 and graduated 2001.
What?
I know he's gonna say he was speaking in context again. Who will graduate from a university will not know the
In
year they
reverse,
graduated or the year they enter the university. Yeah, man, that's all. We are left from Grand Crew 1975, and he didn't get to Maria until 1980.
He took 5 years?
5 years he was walking by law. But when he guys talking loosely, they don't even pay attention. The same man who say the play that car can go, vehicle will go there. They say we are men. He said the road may be bad, but a car can go, vehicles will go. So did he understand what car is and what vehicle is?
He doesn't know that the
Velasco,
two words are
Velasco,
synonymous.
I can be telling you. You tell people they might be throwing the gutter in the drainage. What type of problem is this?
But I think we are not leading the English
Yeah,
mama.
what type of problem is this?
For
For as long as we have had to talk, you and I talk. How much of the errors we've made here? Hey, then you president, you know the difference between vehicle and car, or is there a distinction?
Yeah, you know,
Or
you
the
forget
similarity.
that the two words are synonymous.
You understand me? So coming back to McGill,
Yeah. Yeah, so
all the calculations we made here,
yeah.
McGill House around the VOA on the Ravensfield Highway, the man paved the road from the Ravensfield Highway straight to his compound.
Okay.
I've not been obliged to drive on that road because it just hurts me. There's a guy the other day,
Yeah, where did he get all this money from?
and this guy goes around like the doyen of cash,
Of course.
the doyens of cash.
Mhm.
But all of this, Moses, bothers me because why did we kill our innocent people?
People, yeah.
Why did we
1990.
kill about the government of President Talbot?
Mhm.
Why did we kill from 1980 or 79 all the way to now? Because the people that are dying every day, we can't account for them. Some of them getting missing, the finding people. Why are we doing this to ourselves in this civilized and modern world?
All those people
Why have
died.
we reduced ourselves? We have everything to sustain our population.
Mhm. I agree.
And then a young man stands out here today to bring to light. And you still got people who saying in the person of Kef Hassan, the man didn't get a job, that why he opened it up. But Kef, can you just not see
Yeah.
The man said to you that I am qualified, I'm educated, I can go anywhere because he's a sought after guy. These are not guys you can find around on the sidewalk.
And
Ellis William knows his stuff. Statistically, he understands
of
census.
course, highly
And not
educated.
just come on. We're
Miss
talking about
highly educated.
international climate of
Yeah.
understanding.
But Volcano, please
So this
tell
always
Kev that
get a job by the United Nations. I am telling you. And what you
Vol-
would do, Kev Hassan, you would sit over there.
I just
This
want
man
you to
said
tell
he came back.
Mr.
He said he came back for the love of country to do this. He was
Yeah.
in Ghana working on getting
He
his.
was trying to do his PhD when I asked him to go back.
So apparently he will feel good going back to the classroom and teach.
Yeah.
But he can have a peace of mind and make good money.
Yeah.
Because those kinds of people, you don't find them easily.
No,
And you should be proud.
should be.
Then the nonsense Kev said yesterday, in fact, today, when Dr. Francine and the rest were doing some analogy before the show started. So every time the people who were when lead government, then are the people then y'all can be seeing the person that's smart. Y'all did it with Eugene Fagon, y'all doing it with a man, y'all did it with the other man. So the one that can lead government are stupid people. Yeah, you one of them. Because the smart ones who mean well for the country, who stand up to the corruption, Moses, who stand up to the malfeasance, who stand up to the injustices, are the people that you see as bad guys.
Of course.
Those are the people you see as bad guys.
Welcome, Umo.
So that's the problem, Moses, we have.
Yeah.
So Nathaniel McGill should not be senator in Liberia. And the way to stop it, George Weah, upon your return to Monrovia, you need to constitute an investigation committee to look into the matter presented by the international community through the U.S. Treasury Department and begin to probe those evidence put forth.
Yeah.
And see the disparity or the connectivity to the alleged corruptions of your people who were serving under you.
Mm-hmm.
The sanction list will continue. Nathaniel, what's his name? Samuel Toa does not need sanction list. The evidence there, we already provided the local evidence. So he should be going by now.
Yeah. I see Mr. Tour or Minister Tour, being slapped by a U.S. sanction very soon. That is highly predictable. The way he proceeding in Liberia. And back to Nathaniel McGill again and the others. Like you said, Volcano, I want to join you to ask the president to please do Liberia a favor. Bring these people to justice. You promised the people of Liberia. You owe Nathaniel McGill. You owe Serena Sifo. You owe Bill Tuewe. These people, their character or the characters are being drawn into question. Please do Liberia a favor by bringing these people to justice. There's nothing you can do behind the scene to help McGill. It's not going to work. It will not work. The U.S. will not sit by and allow Nathaniel McGill to become senator in Margibi. And the people of Margibi, I know there's hardship. They are throwing free cash here and there. But please reject Nathaniel McGill. McGill will make no impact in the Senate. What committee will he serve on? Who will he negotiate with in the interest of Margibi? When that happens, what do you think the U.S. government will do to that individual or that company or the group of individuals that Nathaniel McGill will be interacting with? The ambassador has reiterated that anyone, any institution that does business with McGill and the others that were recently sanctioned run the risk of also being what? Sanctioned. These are serious allegations, man. Please, Mr. McGill, stop flaunting your ill-gotten wealth in the eyes of our people. Everybody knows that you stole. Before you came to government, you were very poor. And you're acting like you're some kind of millionaire, man. My girl found somewhere to sit down.
So Moses, let me ask you
Volcano.
quick.
Yes.
If McGill, if Serena Cephas, if Bill Tuewe, if they felt that they were disenfranchised, if they felt that they were innocent, they would be pressuring the Liberian government and President Weah to investigate them.
Of course, I agree with you.
Okay? So what they're trying to do here is to let the water stay under the bridge.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And I will keep pushing it to see if I can get in the Senate. But the American ambassador just spoke yesterday or day before yesterday. So it's just a reminder, make all your noise.
Yeah.
Make all your noise. Make all your noise. Take some of that money. Most of you remember I said that Nathaniel McGill being egotistical and power greedy rather. The money he stole, he will not keep it. He will not be quiet.
You said it.
He will bring it outside.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah,
I said it on one of our shows, right?
Yeah, you did.
I said that impulsivity will be on him to want to be in the prominence.
Yeah,
because the guy is missing the prominence.
Yeah, he's missing that big time.
Relevant.
He just can't imagine that he out of government.
Missing being at the closest proximity to the president.
Absolutely.
So it's hurting him. So he's finding every conduit through which he can resurface in government. And the best place to go would be the Senate. The man even trying for representative.
No, the man wants to be senator.
The man won't be senator.
Of a county. With such a
and
character.
And the stupid people in Margibian County, some of the, I mean, I put everybody.
Yes, some of our people,
some of the stupid people calling the man senator already.
Yeah.
The man down there making speech, Senator McGill. Senator McGill, then the old man, they're passing around. Like talking do. I seen Roe before the man bringing Roe, I will vote for him.
And you know,
give up on
Volcano, you know, sometimes some of our religious people, the way they conduct themselves, you listen to the guy who represented the Christian community, right? And I listened to this man. He said, "Our support is with you, Mr. McGill. You are our man." So this is the man that will be preaching, and he wants me to go and sit in our church.
man, Liberia is a circus. So you got Liberia is sick, Liberia is in peril. Liberia is a circus. We nothing but a circus. That's my own new word for Liberia.
Before the wet. You know, but another country, before they went down there, my gang gave me a late 20 bucks.
You saw the man that got on my gear in the church in Banga.
Yeah, in Banga, they were praying for the man.
What type of trouble is this, my man?
The church people praying for the man, my man, so God can let all the men sing go away.
Yo, circus. Look at what you said today. What the newspaper that wrote saying the census was on course.
Oh yeah, or the heritage. In fact, it's good that you brought that up.
Yeah,
can you know, Volcano, my man, it's so shameful. It is so embarrassing. You know, look, our situation back home is a very sad situation. The heritage newspaper, established by career print journalist. Momo Kane, who currently resides in Canada. And that paper is being managed by one of his brothers in Liberia. In terms of ethics, that paper has been compromised. How do you look at people literally fighting in a community because they have not been paid? The census is in crisis. And you read a headline with that, when Samuel Tua's photo, census on track. Are you out of your mind?
But hold on there. Is that Samuel Tua that's will be talking about census on track? He's the legis director?
Yeah, he's the legis director. With Samuel
he was Alex William?
Yeah, and they say
to be giving ultimatum that the census is on
census
track.
on track. When did he become a spokesman for LISGIS? Oh, because he's board chairman, but that doesn't mean that he speaks for LISGIS. And because why? They may give you $500, $200 chicken change, and you compromise your integrity as a newspaper.
But
Man,
that's the
it's
result.
sad.
That's the result of we are leaving the country for 7 weeks plus and don't know what happening behind. By the time
Yeah.
he come back, he may not have a seat.
Yeah.
Then he said, "Now over there and be playing with his there."
Yeah, man. You know, it's a sad situation, my man. Oh, guys, McGill, to wrap up, I want to ask the president to please do Liberia a favor.
Yeah. Just give you a parting word because we're closing
Yeah.
at 9. We got only 4 minutes left.
Mr. President, everybody knows that you're not up to the tax, but I want to give you this respect tonight, sir. Please do Liberia a favor. Bring Nathaniel McGill, Bill 12, and Serena Seaforth to justice. Institute a probe into these charges brought against them by the U.S. government. If our legal system establishes that they committed no crime, set them free so they can go ahead doing whatever they want to do. But if they are, records to show that they committed crimes, then they should face the days in the criminal justice system. Hold them accountable. Please, Mr. President. Nathaniel McGill is desperate to come back into government. Please give the man days in court. We want this man to be heard. All the running here and there will not help him. McGill, you can't come by so easily. And let me wrap it there, Volcano.
Thank you, Moses. I would like to leave reminding the president that with everything brought out today by Alex Williams, and more conversation will be on that, Mr. President, you should call for the resignation of Samuel Toy. Dismiss him. If you don't want to prosecute now until you return to the country and put the facts together. But Samuel Toy is a hardened criminal. He's a pathological liar. We've said it over and over. This guy just thinks that he has you in his pocket. He has you in his wallet. He thinks that he's the best dictionary for you. He's the library for you. And you have proof on that because you said that the man is your bookman. But a bookman is not smart. There's one thing to be a bookman. There's another thing to be smart. When you're serving as the chairman of the board of an institution and your hand in the money jar, when you're using your boys around you to take money, this young man is not an employee of LISGIS, and he writing check in his name for $164,000 or more, whatever it is. When Samuel Toy is sending money to the Ivory Coast in an Echo Bank account for a fake business that did not go through the procurement process, this is sad. And you still got this guy with everything that's happening. Mr. President, I think you should be on the next flight tomorrow. If you charter this plane to ride you around the world, fuel it right now. Tell the pilot we're heading back to Monrovia. My country is in crisis. It's a circus right now. I need to go back because the magnitude of the crisis will be even incalculable by the time you get back. I'm telling you, the Liberian Titanic has hit the iceberg and is sinking slowly. I repeat myself, Mr. President, the Liberian Titanic under the CDC government has hit the iceberg and is sinking slowly. Some people will soon be jumping ship. There are more to come. There are more sanctions to come. And you yourself might face the sanction of the Liberian people when you don't go back to power in 2023. Again, we want to thank all of you, our viewers tonight. We say thank you, Harrison Bajibo, Thomas Awaji, Ambassador S. Jimmy, Mapu Hall. Listen, some of you new folks who come into the issues room, This is the place to come. This is where we discuss the things that matter with substance, with intelligence, and we want you to come and be a part of these conversations. We're always appealing to you to join us, even if you call. We like your comments. They're very important. John Yamin Jr., good to see you again, my brother. We got to bring you back in the issues room. I'll be reaching out to you momentarily. Idea Ha Umo, all the way in Australia. Thanks. The time difference, and you was able to make it to the show tonight. We say thanks for your support and your loyalty. Florence Kinsley, Sensing Beslow Perry Jr., man, good to see you. It's been a while. Hope everything is going well. Vonnie Hardy, Momo Nelson, Alexander Boniface, Emmanuel Hayes. It's been a while. You ran away. You better come back. Lamitai, you on and off. Again, we say thank you so much to all of you for coming through tonight. Thomas Harvey, Emmanuel Jackson, and the rest of you folks who showed up here tonight. It was good to see you. Kwamex Fofana, seeing you first time in the issues room. You asked where the number was posted for a while, but you can join us again. Pay Edward, we say thank you. Agnes Barkley Young, you made your promise to be here. Well, it's good to see you, Rivers as Pro. Now you are a strong fanatic of the issues room. Forget about the CDC and forget about politics. Okay. I'm a Freeman. We say thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Everyone who made it. JJ Sako, long time, my brother. Yes. Come back. We're here. All right. Juseline Petitqua. Just a lot of you were here tonight. Moses, man, it was good seeing all of these folks here coming and joining us. Great conversation. Again, we don't know what Friday it will be, but I'm thinking on something. Let's talk sports on Friday, the eve of the World Cup on Sunday. I made contact with Hassan Kewu.
Okay.
He's a fanatic, athlete, former athlete, actually.
Yeah.
And he's ready to come in here. And we'll see if we can find somebody else to join us here. And let's look at the World Cup.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, that would be a great discussion. So let's try to pull some colleagues together.
Yeah, interestingly, the way we talk about our topic, I know some people will steal it, but no problem. The conversation will be different.
But the conversation, we're bringing in people who know the game, man. So that would be good. So let them come and join us. Let's talk the World Cup. This is something that we all look forward to. And let me say thank you for coming. I know when you think about the situation, like you said earlier, it becomes so painful. But again, it is what it is. We have to accept and just hope for the better for our country. Thank you. And look forward to seeing you on Friday.
It's good seeing you too, my brother.
Thank you.
Great conversation here tonight.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. I'm Volcano Shelton. We'll be back here on Friday again. Have a good night.